members of the community to address the board. When you're called, please come up to the microphone and state your name and your address and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please direct all comments to the board. Per established procedure, we will not respond to questions or interact with the speaker during the public comment. Everyone who indicates they would like follow-up from the district will receive it from the appropriate administrator. If your name is called and you have changed your mind, as always, you may feel free to pass. Let me get my timer set up here. Not 50 minutes. I'll change that. There we go, 3 minutes. Okay, first up is Vincent Monahar.
I have something for the board as well as for this.
Please go ahead.
Vincent Monahar. You'll find me at 6860 Cascade Road. My speech reflects my views of no other affiliated organization, and I recommend all minors and easily triggered adults leave. This book is Refugee by Alan Gratz. It's a good book, but it also has this. They would tie his ankles together and his hands behind his back and tie a gag in his mouth, hang him upside down with his head in a barrel. Then they would fill the barrel slowly so they could enjoy the panic, so they could laugh. And he would thrash around and breathe water until he drowned. This is one of several violent passages in this book. Online sites list this book as appropriate for older than 10, but it's in Orchard View and Knapp Forest for kids as young as 5. As an elementary parent, I followed policy 5407 and messaged the media specialists and principals May 2024. Having received no meaningful dialogue, I initiated book reconsideration February 2025, not to remove it, but to request reassignment to middle school. Scott Hay denied reconsideration initiation. This board, minus the 2 new members and Holly, approved policy amendment in August 2024. It forbade district parents, let alone community members, from initiating reconsideration unless their child currently attends the school with the book. You have silenced community members, guardians, and now most district parents from initiating dialogue on appropriateness. Who is standing up to protect our children's innocence? The concerned parents now blocked from even alerting you? Or you who enforce repressive policies? By restricting Socratic debate, are children helped or harmed? Scott Hay, do you condone exposing youth to depictions of torture? You use policy to deny formal reconsideration, but you can alert librarians to informally review identified books. There's nothing in the policy preventing you, and they can remove books. This is not a book banning. These books are available elsewhere. It is dereliction of policy 5407 and subsection B2D not to encourage informal reviews. Board, you passed the truant law on block changes. Why approve policies that make it harder to discuss age appropriateness of torture and pervasive vulgarity? Do you believe the problem goes away if you gag us? Your mission is to set policy without causing harm. Does this policy prevent childhood mental trauma? Or does it silo you in ignorance, unable to hear parental concerns? Why retain a firm that silences constituents and puts children at risk? Scott Hay, next year I hope we evolve beyond rule enforcement and put children first by encouraging book review at the librarian level. And board, you can change the policy back. You also have the power to fire truant and retain a firm that pivots you to collaborate with your constituency. Welcoming rational debate on age appropriateness is time-consuming, but it puts children first. Don't sacrifice children for the ease of the job. Good day.
Thank you, Dr. Monahar.
Vincent
Next
Monahar.
is
I'm
Doug Lee.
representing myself as a physician.
Your time is done. Doug Lee, please.
Rude.
Actually, my time was done there.
All right, my name is Doug Lee. I live in 8613 52nd Street. I've been in this district now for 34 years. It was nice to see colleagues of previous boards and generation ago. I did watch the finance meeting and the presentation from Plant Moran, okay? And they gave an answer that we're having less babies is the reason for decline. I'm also a developer. I own multiple businesses. There's a word called strategic thinking. Strategic thinking means you ask questions, what, why, when, how, instead of accept blatant answers, because that's the answer you want to have. When you have an answer, we have more babies, it's an easy answer because you have to do nothing. You're not, there's nothing you can do. You're not going to go out there and populate Forest Hills with a bunch of babies and fill our kindergarten classes. But the private schools, the homeschool co-ops are growing like crazy. They are in our district. And the developments I built, when I bought my land, I was on the outside of Forest Hills. I was right on the boundary. All the land between my house, which is in Forest Hills, and I'm on the border, has been developed. And you've seen these developments. You know people are coming in this area. We are adding houses on record levels. Just find an empty piece of lot or piece of land in Forest Hills. They're almost non-existent. Okay, why? Because they're built up, and there are many families. Our demographics is growing, but you just got a presentation because a rubber stamp answer of what you wanted to hear, and nobody asked any more detailed questions. No, we're losing kids because we replaced critical thinking with emotional learning. Parents have gotten wise to this, and they pull their kids out. Yes, we live in a district where we can afford to pull our kids out. That's what makes us unique. They can afford to pay the taxes in this district, and at the same time pay a Christian to educate their children. These people that came in here built the community. They have no idea of what's happened in the last 17 years in Forest Hills because they've been gone. They're riding the wave that they built, and the way Dr. Washburn built this district up in education. We're no longer educating, we're emotionally educating kids.
Thank you. Vicki Slott.
Just wait until you look up.
I know, I'm getting my timer going. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for this year, for the opportunity to speak at the mic and be heard. I also want to thank you. I know I wrote a lot of emails and letters, and it took a lot of time to read them and respond to them. I would just like to show you. Do you see this? It's a blank page. I got nothing to say tonight other than thank you, and that I hope we can stay in dialogue next year. I'll have 2 grandkids in, and I really want to see Forest Hills be a school that meets everybody's needs. I know with our diverse opinions, it's very difficult. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Slott. Jared Jakubowski.
Jared Jakubowski in the White House on White Hills Avenue. I want to thank the board for last month's meeting. Your majority perfectly crystallized and confirmed entrenched woke attitudes which should concern many more parents. This district's schools definitely have many fans. They know about bright and shiny programs worthy of praise and emulation, but they do not know what they do not know. Most are too busy, too complacent to research what truly has been happening in our public schools and why government-sponsored education has been declining over the last 5 decades, nationwide to our own little old microcosmic world. Last month, true to form, the board's majority refused to consider moving public comments to the beginning of meetings, refused to look at a picture book with provocative pictures and a woke agenda targeting our very youngest kids, refused to question curriculum and books grounded in CRT, aka DEI, refused to rubber stamp anything, refused to acknowledge fundamental endemic problems with public education. And why? Well, as with too many parents, the majority of the board has been too complacent to question much of anything. Such complacency and votes are attributed to groupthink faith in, wait for it, expert opinions. You know, like the experts who shut down our schools during COVID because young, healthy kids were so vulnerable, insisted cloth masks work, be 6 feet apart, vaccines prevent infection and spread, and on, all provably wrong. Or the experts mandating DEI everywhere, especially schools. These programs are now proven to be counter-effective to their goals in the job place and schools, causing division, envy, injury. Or the educational experts who began to 86 phonics in the 1980s, the decade when our public schools began falling from the tip top of worldwide standings, now way down to around 35th. Or the same educational experts who in the 80s began injecting anti-academic critical pedagogy into teachers' college texts, which led to critical race theory, now disguised as DEI. What's wrong with this picture? Having observed and participated in parochial and public education for more than 70 years, I know a lot has gone wrong. There are existential problems. We all know the adage, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Well, to those in positions of direct power and influence, I dare say, if you are not part of the solution, you are the problem. Go
Thank you,
beyond
Mr.
your echo
Jakubowski.
chambers. Educate yourselves.
Thank you,
Become
Mr.
your own
Jakubowski. Your time is
experts.
now up.
The truth is out there
Thank you.
and
Up next,
right here.
Mr. Jakubowski, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Robin Vanderjack.
Good evening, Board. Robin Vanderjack, Cascade Township. I have been asked to share a follow-up to Mr. Jakubowski's comments and the problem of unquestioningly relying on experts who often can have very questionable biases. This comment has to do with the Board's majority expressing an unquestioningly faith in the teacher discretion and teacher independence when it comes to our curricula, boards, and teachings. The following are some examples of teacher discretion and independence experienced right here at Forest Hills Public Schools over the years. I quote the author, "I know of a half-dozen mixed-race children who have gone to Northern Middle School. Those of darker color began to bully their white siblings and taunt their white parents and white grandparents, calling them racists. Racists. When these children were asked where did they get this hateful idea from, they said, from our teachers at our school. Parents were shocked to have heard their white children being identified as the oppressors and their children of color as the oppressed by their teacher in their school. This was being taught more than 15 years ago here in this district. Then there were also the impressionable, confused mid-teen girls who were lured into a dressed in black, goth, lesbian coven because they were told, your parents don't understand you, but we do. Your parents don't love you, but we do. And as a result, truly loving family relationships were harmed, some destroyed by this influence. The influencer and mentor of this group was a female teacher at Forest Hills Central. This was some 20 years ago. So when the majority of the school board expressed an unwavering faith in their experts of choice and complete confidence in the discretion and wisdom of all of our teachers, our past lived experience here in the district has illustrated that we have every reasonable reason to be much, much more concerned and questioning of curricula, books, experts, and some educators. The ever-increasing flow of students away from Forest Hills Public Schools to homeschool, private, and parochial schools says we're not alone regarding these concerns. This truth is out here and has been experienced by those in our community, some right here now.
Thank you, Mrs. Vanderjack.